Welcome back to the Green Flag Attraction, the No BS relationship podcast for impact-driven high achievers who are ready to create power couple love. I am one of your hosts, Sarah.
And I'm Ian, as you guys know. And every week we're diving into the most commonly asked questions about love and how to create a power couple relationship you crave.
Welcome back to season 2. We are so excited to be here. Before we dive in, we want to thank all of our viewers and our subscribers from last season. We had so much fun creating that season. We're going to do things a little bit differently this time around.
It's going to be fire.
It's going to be really fire. It's going to be fire. Do you want to say what it is?
Yeah,
Okay.
We want to engage the audience a little bit more.
We want to know you. We want to know you.
So we're going to have you guys submit some questions every week, and we're going to pick 2 or 3 of those, and we're going to answer those on our next episode. So make sure that you leave us a comment. You can DM us, whatever works best for you, but let us know what you guys
drop a
want.
comment
let us
below.
know what you want us to cover. We're going to go off of what the most common questions are for couples, but if there's something you guys want, we'll definitely shoot an episode on it if it makes sense.
Yeah, or if you have a question that you just want us to answer, drop it below. We'll be posting this on Instagram as well. So either on Instagram, comment below. We got you.
And make sure that you stick around to the end.
Oh, yeah.
Because
our secret announcement.
we got a secret little gift that we're dropping. So make sure that you guys are sticking around to find out what that is.
All right. Are you ready to dive in?
Let's do it.
Ooh. So today I'm really excited because we're going to be breaking down the 3 biggest communication blocks that high achieving couples face, even in healthy relationships. We have dealt with these.
And yes, we said communication. So
Communication.
get excited.
And we're going to teach you how to fix them really before it kills your connection. And because connection is really what you have with your partner. And if you don't have the connection, it kind of drains the fun out of life. So we don't want that to happen to you.
Do you want a partner that you love and you're excited about, or do you want a roommate? Right, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So, and that all starts with communication from the beginning to, and communication is something that you're always constantly working on. Right?
Yeah.
I don't think you ever get perfect communication dialed in, but it's something that
You're always learning and growing, and as life happens, communication sometimes pops up with situations you've never had to deal with before. And so we're constantly improving and growing our communication as we learn each other better. And it's something that we want to share with you guys because it is one of the most common asked questions when it comes to relationships. So we are going to break this into 3 parts today. We're going to cover the 3 most commonly asked questions when it comes to relationships and give some of our personal insight of how we've dealt with it because we've dealt with these all.
And the coolest thing is just because we're talking about relationships or these relationship-based questions, all the feedback we're giving you, you can put into any relationships you have. It doesn't have to be with your spouse. It could be with your kids, with coworkers, with friends, so forth. So communication is communication. So you're regardless if you're in an awesome, amazing relationship now, or that's what you want to create, or if you're single, you'll definitely get some good.
And if you're single, use these as you start dating the person, because if they're not able to communicate with you from the beginning, it's not something they're going to learn over time. So don't date potential, date the reality.
So first question is, how do I switch out of work mode and be more emotionally present? And this definitely hit home for me, right? Being an entrepreneur, I know a lot of guys, women too, herself included,
I fall in this category as well.
Can relate to this, to where sometimes we can get stuck in grind mode, like go, never turn off, especially if you are creating something, especially on the digital or online space. Your business never sleeps. There is no off time, regardless if you're on vacation or sick or whatnot. So it can be hard to switch out of that and be fully present with your kids. I know that's something that, when my kid was first born, Jason, my son, when he was communicating, when he could communicate, 1, 2 years old, it was, I definitely saw that being an issue of me being away or me focusing on work too much, or when I'm, when I'm giving myself to the family, or I'm focusing on family time, but I'm not truly there, right? I'm always looking at my phone or waiting for text messages, or I'm checking Slack or whatever it is, creating content, then I'm not truly present. So even though I'm with them, my physical being is with them, I'm not actually with them emotionally. So.
Yeah, we went through a little period, and that's just because you value work. It's a high value to you. You give a lot to the companies and the teams that you are running, and so it's coming from a place of like giving and care. And so I struggled with that, communicating it to you as like, hey, I want you to be more present, because I knew that you were doing it for the right reasons and it's coming from a good place. But at the end of the day, I was feeling a little neglected. And so we have set some boundaries and some I wouldn't say rules, but we've just communicated about what we want and our expectations, which we're going to share with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, value work is a high value of mine. Now you can switch your values right after you learn how to do that. And that's a deep rabbit hole to go down. But as far as this goes, yeah, work, career was tends to be my number one value from time to time. So it looks at how do I balance that? Because when I'm not working, then I feel guilty, or I feel like I'm not doing what I need to do for the family and for myself and for clients or whatnot. So it's not only how do you remove yourself from work, but how do you actually effectively do it so it's not weighing on you emotionally, right? Because you might be able to be there, but if you're constantly thinking about, oh man, I need to check this, or what's going on, or there's a fire burning down, or my team's, burning everything to the ground or whatnot, then you're not truly able to be, effective for your kids or your wife. So
I have found since you've created these boundaries around like work, it has really helped you show up more focused and present when you're in work mode. And then again, when you're with the family. And that's one of the benefits of communicating with your partner of, hey, can we have these boundaries, these standards? Because at that point, you guys can create a lifestyle that works for you. And it's going to look different for each person depending on the values that they have and the ranking they have them in, right?
Yeah.
And so one thing that has really helped us, so kind of like the fix to this, so if you struggle with this in your relationship, if you struggle with with the person always being turned into work and maybe not being emotionally on, is we want to give you a fix. So there's 3 things that we have done to help us overcome this. So the biggest one for us that has really revolutionized is our Sunday check-ins, is what we call it. And so it's when we sit down and we take a look at our week. And because we're both entrepreneurs and we have your son half the time, our week is always changing. Family is a really high value to me. I don't have any family in San Diego, so I'm constantly traveling all over to see them. And so I honestly feel like no 2 weeks look the same for us. And so those Sunday check-ins are our lifesaver because we know from the very beginning what the week looks like. So we communicate right off the front. How do you feel like they've benefited you?
I mean, Sunday check-ins are definitely where we started. Now I feel like we check in multiple times or whenever we need to throughout the week. But if you're in a position where you're not communicating on that level, you need to start somewhere. So start with Sundays where you sit down, and it doesn't have to be an hour or 2 hours. It's literally 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it's have your schedules ready. Pull your computers up, your phones, whatever it is, and just focus on what does my week look like? Because that's your time to ask for help if you need help. And we'll get into that later on for another question. But that's your time to express kind of what can be expected, right? But you also have to set your everyone has expectations set. So we were both business or entrepreneurs when we met each other. So we already kind of knew what that life looked like. So if you're someone that is dating an entrepreneur, you're with an entrepreneur, and you're not an entrepreneur, it's hard to kind of see what it's like to live that life, I guess you could say, right? So for me, how this really helped me was I didn't realize until I really sat down and did like a time audit of how much of my energy was going to work opposed to like family, even during family times, to where I would drive Jace to school and be doing work meetings as soon as I dropped him off in the car on the way back home. That's not the best use of my time, right? So the Sunday check-ins have been a game changer for me because I know if you're going into hustle mode, it also gives me an opportunity to say, hey, I just started a new contract or took on a new client. I'm going to be all in for the next however long, and I can set an expectation for you. So he's going to be a little bit hit or miss this week or this month, or he's going to be a little bit tied up. But it's also just having
it's about communicating, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's about. Is our Sunday check-ins always look so different, and it's nothing fancy. We both just grab our planners. Hey, for the next, it takes us maybe 5 or 10 minutes. This is what my week looks like. This is what it looks like.
It's one of those non-negotiables for us. We do
it
our
just
Sunday,
sets the communication standard for the entire week. Yes, we check in like throughout the week if we need to, but it just sets that communication from the beginning of the week and it just sets such an easy standard. Okay.
And you have a time to ask for help or when you need to communicate
Yeah.
things, right? Also, we like to schedule connection time if it's needed, right? Like
Yeah, that's number 2.
Yeah, set
Number 2.
expectations. So we have date night pretty much every Monday. Is kind of like our date night time.
Well, no, that's not true because depending, like, I'm going to be gone at the,
And then we have
Monday
Jace,
of the
but
month.
typically it's every Monday, or if not, we
And
set
it goes
time.
back to the Sunday check-ins because we don't have a typical in our life. And so, yeah, typically it's Monday, but for the next 3 weeks, we have Jace on Mondays, which is not typical, but it is just the way things are, right? So over the next 3 weeks, it's going to look different. So that's why the Sunday check-ins are great. The second thing we do is scheduling the connect time. And we set that expectation and we plan it there because we know that no matter how crazy the week gets, maybe we're not connecting as much as we want to. Like maybe we don't have like the communication as much as like because we're busy and we have different appointments. That connect time where we have scheduled our date night, our connection, gives us a point for us to be able to communicate what we need at that point.
Yeah. And it might even be a yoga class we do for an hour, or something that breath work or sauna or cold plunge. It doesn't always look the same, that connect time. It just kind of depends on what season of life we're in.
Yeah.
And then we also sit down and we say we plan around family too. If we're gonna have Jace for that week, what does that week look like? What are our plans, right?
We kind of lead double lives because when we have Jace, our values and our priorities are 100% around him. And we do family time. We do, family Friday movie night. We do so many things.
Very much a routine.
It's a lot more of a routine. And then when we don't have him, like that's when we kind of power pack our work life, our travel, our fun. And so that is honestly when we kind of need to communicate the most, is because that's always changing and evolving and is a little bit more chaotic, where it's like when we have him, it's kind of like a little bit more consistent. But then if you do have a project going on, I'm doing more like school pickup and drop off. So the communication part of just setting the expectation when you're going to connect and what that week looks like.
And then phone-free family time is
Number
the third
3.
one, and that's really big on. It's setting intentional time. So if we do family movie night, which is something we do twice a month with Jace, right? It's something that we've been doing for years now, and that's just a kind of a consistent for us. Is we put our phones on the counter, we leave our phones off, right? Or we don't focus on that. It's time with the family.
Yeah.
And
if you feel like you're not connecting with your partner, you're not communicating, then take away what's the barrier between you. Usually it's technology because it's so easy to sit there and just scroll and be on your phone and not feel connected to the person that you're living with. And so we love and implementing and having our phone free time because we connect and have conversations that we would never ever have on a regular date night. And it's just like the phone free time has really helped alleviate this like switching out between work mode and emotional mode and that. Okay, Are you ready? Number 2?
So, question 2.
All right, question 2.
So, some second most commonly asked question for couples is, how do I ask for support without sounding needy?
I struggled with this one because as a high achiever, and also I'm the oldest daughter of 5 kids, I was trained that asking for help was a weakness. And so I can do it myself. I'm an independent woman. Nobody can help me. I can do it myself better than you, probably. And bringing that into a relationship is really stressful for me and for the other person because they can read that you're stressed. And so I had kind of worked through that coming into our relationship, so I had more tools to be able to ask for help. I still find myself struggling sometimes, but as a high achiever, sometimes just asking for help sounds needy in my brain.
Yeah. And then on the male's perspective side of things, or at least my perspective of it, right, is we're high achievers. She kind of said it's asking for help is weakness, but also I was a single father when I met her, right, for the first time, and I definitely had like a chip on my shoulder or something that I had to prove, and not to anyone else, but probably more to myself than anyone, right, that I could do it. So that was probably the hardest thing for me to let go of, or really to ask for support, or without sounding like I was needy, or just in a position where I never wanted to beg for anything. I never had to beg for anything, right? So it's asking like, hey, I'm taking on a lot with this. I have two contracts or whatever it is. I'm working how many ever hours a week during that phase, right? but I was still taking it upon myself to drive, what at that time, 3.5 hours a day total for,
More
drop off
than
and
that.
pickups for my son,
More
right?
than
So
that, like
up to 4
4.
hours a week in a car on top of
A
working,
day.
a day on top of working, 10 to 12 hour days. So it was just, but I was too stubborn, to actually ask for help when I needed the help, to where I'd be doing meetings in my car. I'm doing team meetings while I'm driving. I'm doing all this. I'm still doing it effectively, but not as effectively as I could have. So not only am I taking away from me, I'm taking away from other people that I'm,
Yeah.
committing to. So it's knowing that.
How did you get over, like, what opened you up to start asking for help? Because I remember when you started asking me for help, and I was so happy to help. I was kind of waiting for you to ask, but I didn't want to.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, just like you said again, communication, right? It's sending it's the stories, because when we don't communicate with each other, right? Or there's a question we have and we're too afraid to ask it, or it hasn't been communicated or talked about, then it's human nature that we're going to create stories. So we're going to do.
What was the story you created?
I don't even remember what it was at this point, but I know that you go through scenarios in your head of.
What do you think it would have been?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't. I don't know.
I'm just
This isn't her
curious.
kid. She didn't sign up for that. I don't know. Like,
That's a good one.
Kind of thing, because it's, you come into it, especially being a single father, which is a whole episode in itself, right? It's different, right? You go into not needing or wanting anyone else's help. Plus, I wanted to prove, to myself, to him, to his mom, everyone else, that I didn't need anyone's help, right? I didn't need someone to help with pickups and drop-offs. I got this, and it's still something I like, but now I do it because I've set it as a boundary within. Hey, this is what I expect from any new position, or within working, is setting this time to spend with him, because it's fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it was just like you said. It's really focusing on understanding what you need and truly knowing what you need, because sometimes a lot of people don't ask for help because they haven't truly sat down and realized and understood, what do I need? Like, what am I asking for?
Yeah.
I know I need something, but what, at the end of the day, if someone to ask you, how can I help you?
Yeah.
What would your answer be?
Well, we're going to give you the fix in case you don't know what to do. This is what we do. So when we do our Sunday check-ins for the week, we also will ask each other, how can I support you this week? So it's kind of like piggybacking off step 1 that we give you for the question number 1 for the Sunday check-in is, how can I support you this week? And that question has really, really helped us, because it gives each of us a platform to ask for what we want. So communicate what we need. And it also lets the other person know how they can support us. And if they need to maybe carry a little extra that week. I know that there's weeks where you have more on your work plate, so I'm carrying extra by doing more school drop-off and pickups, or I'm working extra, and so you are maybe like doing more meal cooking or meal prep. So it definitely changes, but asking the question, how can I support you this week, is a game changer.
Yeah, and it all comes down to what we've been saying this whole episode, right? It's communicate what you need.
Yeah.
It's just sitting down and letting and truly knowing what you need right
Yeah.
before you communicate. And once you understand what that is just asking for it. But also knowing that just because you ask for something, or you communicate what you need, doesn't mean that need's always going to be met.
Right. And
right? So you have to be okay with that too.
And also being okay with saying no, because there's times where we've asked for help and like, I don't have it, and like, I can't help you with that this week. Like, I already have another obligation. I already have something else going on. So also understanding that you're going to ask for help, but the other person might not always be able to support you. So,
or there's something scheduled and I forget to update the calendar or tell her, and then it's coming up to it and she's like, I already scheduled something.
that happened last month.
Yeah, so she doesn't feel bad, and I don't feel bad because it's on me for not updating her that this was happening. So it all comes down to communication, right? So therefore, other families would have been, oh, I can't believe you're picking this over him, and I told you once about this, and you should have known. And the reality
let's walk them through what happened, because this my conversations have not always gone like this in the past. So you had told me about an event that Jace had at school, and you had said that it was 2 days, and you had given me a couple Wednesdays. And Wednesdays is typically my girls' night, where I have time with me and my girlfriends, because that was something like I felt like I needed. And so I was like, yeah, absolutely, I'll go. And then you never sent me the date, and you never sent me the invitation. And then the week of, you were like, hey, Jace's school thing is this week, And I said, I have a networking event. I already have plans. I cannot go. Next time, will you please email me or text me the invite so that I can have it sooner and I can put it in my planner? So I stood my ground of like, hey, I said yes originally to you, right? But I can't anymore. Next time, also came with a plan. Can you please do this? Because it is something that's important to me going to Jace's school events. And I genuinely did want to go, but I also had already made a commitment.
And I believe you did say if it's super important, if I need to, like I can make it, I can make it happen. But you know, I
Yes.
would prefer to keep this until
Right.
and I was like, no, you know, it's 100% on me. I took full ownership on not communicating correctly or effectively, right? And that was the end of the conversation. We crushed it. It was a good time. I went with little man, and you know,
Yeah.
but that could have turned into this whole issue, right? With, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there listening.
Miscommunications happen, is what I'm
Yeah.
going to say. So we're constantly learning how to communicate with each other, and
So think about the
that's
last time.
think about the last time
You had a
were
communication issue.
Yeah,
right?
You were in the middle of miscommunication.
Yeah. Or how would
Asking
you react to that?
questions.
How would you react to that
Yeah,
situation?
yeah.
Right.
Asking questions. Hey, like, thank you, but next time, can you do this instead? Like, this doesn't work for me. Always give I like giving an option as well. If I'm saying no, and it was like this was something I wanted to I did want to go, and I did say if I really need to cancel I can, and then we talked about it and it was fine.
Because you got to remember, you're on the same team, right? It's
Yeah.
not. It's you. It's the two of you versus the problem, not the problem. You know, not you versus you.
Yeah.
So that's what you have to realize is at the end of the day, if you're truly a partner and you truly are that, you know, a team,
Yeah.
then it's what can you do to come together to overcome whatever the issue is. The
Yeah.
issue is I didn't communicate correctly. Cool. Do I really need her to come? If I do, she's going to step up and come. But at the end of the day, he's going to have many events, and it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a huge issue.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it all comes down to communication. So
We want to give you 4 questions or things you can say to your partner to help you feel confident asking for help without feeling needy.
it's like a talk track.
A talk track.
Yeah.
If you feel like you just need some words to say, because I know I do sometimes. And these are things that we've said to each other. So I like saying this to you because you like to try to fix things. I think it's in a man's nature to try to fix things, and you used to try to give me solutions, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want solutions. So I say this, I'm like, not expecting you to fix this, or I'm not asking for your advice, but I'd love your perspective if you're up for it, or I just need you to listen.
Yeah, and from a guy, you can always ask.
I only ask.
Yeah.
He knows if I come talking not to give me advice, and he'll be like, are you just venting, or do you need advice? And I'm just like, I'm just venting.
Yeah, that's what you ask. Is like, hey, are you open for feedback, or are you just venting? And they're gonna tell you, hey, I'm just venting. Cool. That is your time to shut up. Nothing else needs to be said on your end. Just open your ears.
Yeah.
Because anytime we try to fix anything, even if we know the perfect fix and we can just say this, and that doesn't matter. That's not what they're asking for.
It's not what we're asking for. Am
And
I
my
right,
big thing
ladies?
is like my things is like, hey, I just need like 10 minutes to talk this out without interruptions. I'm a verbal processor, so just because I'm saying and talking and saying and doing all these things doesn't mean that that's actually what I'm going to land at, in the next 5, 10, an hour, whatever it is. So I just need time to just kind of express what I'm feeling, get it out there, get my thoughts out. Instead, it's kind of like putting thought on paper, right? Instead of writing it down, I just talk it out. Then I get to where I need to get to. So that's just where I tell her, hey, I'm not asking for your support in this. I'm not asking for your feedback. I just need to just hear me out here. Just let me talk.
You just need to
through.
talk crazy. He'll be saying things, and I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm just talking it out. Okay. We process differently. I'm more of an internal processor. So communicate, and understanding your partner, how they communicate also as well, will definitely help your relationship. Okay, number 4, I am feeling overwhelmed. Would you mind just sitting with me for a few minutes? Sometimes you don't even want to talk about it. You just want to hug. And so I don't feel like we get enough hugs. And so I know that sometimes you just need someone to hug you and to sit with you and just to be there with you.
And science has proven if you do an 8-second embrace or an 8-second kiss, it actually releases dopamine, serotonin, all sorts of really cool feel-good molecules. So if you guys are doing
8-second hugs.
if you're doing
Hold your hugs.
If you're doing these quick little pecks or these quick little The love taps, stop that and just like embrace, connect. It takes 8 seconds.
If you ever see us holding a really long kiss, that's why, because
right.
he started this,
It's
the
like
8-second kisses, and now we just are like,
so at the end of the day, it's all how you communicate it. It's just
wait, you forgot the
clearly,
last one.
it's just clearly asking for what you want. So like for me, I like connection, right? I'm a quality time guy for sure.
Quality
So
time.
for me, there's times where I'm like, hey, I've been grinding. She's in grind mode. We've had my son for a long period of time, whatever it is, and I just sit down and I say, hey, I need some connection time. I need to connect with you. And that doesn't mean 100% that I just want to have sex, all right? But I just like actual connection time. Like, I want to connect. I want to talk. I want to just like, can we go out to dinner? Can we do something? And that's when that's opening up for like, can we make time to talk without any distractions, right? No phone, no girls, no talking about work. Can we just connect and talk about what we need to talk about, right? So we don't do that often because we build it in on Sundays or whenever
Yeah.
we kind of need. We know, but if there's time where you just need some connection, you need some alone time.
Ask for it.
Ask for it. It's okay. It's all good. You're not crazy. So
All right, part 3, question number 3 is, why do we keep having the same arguments over and over and over?
ooh, this is a good one. Well, first off, disappointment is unmet expectations, right? So if you're continuing to have the same argument, that means one of you is, they're disappointed, right? Because of the expectations. They have an expectation set of how this person should act or how what their partner should be doing or how they should be doing it, and it isn't being met, and that's being brought up with disappointment, and then that's going to be frustration or backhanded comments or passive aggressive little things, or the communication is going to be there because you're triggered.
Yeah,
Right.
most recurring fights are not about the surface issue.
No.
They're underlying issues. Like, it's not about, I love the scene in the breakup where he comes home with the lemons and she's like, there's only 6 lemons. I wanted 12. And they break up that night. Like, it wasn't about the lemons. There were so many other underlying things. And so when you keep having the same arguments over and over, one of the questions to ask yourself is, okay, what is my expectation? Did we have a plan moving forward? And if my expectations aren't being met, then are they in the right place? Because if you've had a conversation with someone and they keep repeating the same behavior over and over again, I love to say people tell you who they are, you just have to believe them. Then it doesn't matter how you expect someone to be, you have to put the expectation at the bar that they have set through their actions.
Yeah, and any relationship, healthy or not, you're gonna have disagreements. You're gonna have arguments. There's gonna be things where you don't 100% align. I mean, you're living under the same roof with another human.
But if you
Right?
keep
So
having the same one over and
exactly.
over, then that's a cycle. And how do you fix it? So let's
Yeah. So really, the biggest
talk
thing
about
is
that.
you have to, realize where this is coming from, right? Like, well, why am I getting upset? Is there and do I have like sometimes we get upset for ridiculous reasons and we know they're ridiculous, and once we identify why we're getting upset or where they come from, it isn't a conversation that needs to be had because you just know like, hey, this is coming from a really crazy past relationship and traumas that I have from nothing related to this relationship and yada yada yada. But you need to really sit down and do the inner work, right? Like really dive deep on why is this a trigger? Why is this bringing me up? Why am I communicating like this, right? Why am I getting passive aggressive or shutting down or whatever? And then once you identify what it is, then it's, really coming out and,
Communicating
communicating what it is, but you have to realize what is the ask? What is your ask? What do you want to solve? And what's the solution that you're looking for? Because right now, you're being met with unmet expectations. So what is your expectation? Do you need to lower your expectation, right? Based off of how this person has been acting? Or is it a make or break where you need to sit down with your partner and say, hey, this is something that I've identified, right? That is causing a little bit of, stress or extra work on my end. I'd really appreciate it if you could, or if you would be better about picking up your laundry that's being left or putting your dishes in the sink when you're done instead of leaving them on the counter. Right. No matter if even these little bitty things that sound ridiculous and we shouldn't have to be, if it's something that's triggering you and that's coming up consistently, even if it's leaving the toothpaste cap off or not turning lights off, or I don't know. I've heard of people arguing over just the stupidest stuff, but it's not stupid because to someone that holds meaning. So
Yeah.
it's just getting rid of kind of the judgment and just being like, hey, being okay with coming to your partner and saying, hey, I don't like how, You didn't put
And
the
even
dishes
the little
away.
things. I'll say one of my little things. Like, I don't like it. Do you know what I'm going to say? When you got out of the shower and we have this rug in front of the sink. And when he steps on it with his wet feet, the rug doesn't like absorb the water.
Yeah, it makes no sense. Why do we have a rug in the bathroom that you can't get wet? But I know that it's a pet
And then I
peeve and
step
not
in
to
there,
step on the rug.
and then I step in there with my socks, and my socks get wet. And like that's a ridiculous thing. And however, I asked you not to step on the rug anymore, and you don't do it anymore. And I'm so grateful. And
And now we actually laugh about it.
And now
I make it a funny thing. So it's
he
actually
does.
fun.
He'll
See?
like get out of the shower and be like, I won't step on the rug. Oh, watch out for the rug. And it's like a joke now. But when you're able to talk to your partner about like the silly things, like even if it seems silly to you, going back to what you were saying, like it's important to them. And so understanding that there's just certain things about your partner that might be quirky to you, but if you love them and it's something small like not walking on the rug with wet feet, like it's not that big of a deal.
And also, you have to really think about: is this a make or break for me or not? Like you come down. Let's say something that she likes to do is make snacks, and then she'll leave the
Wrapper on the
peanut
counter.
butter. She'll leave the peanut butter out unscrewed, knife right next to it, dirty, and I'm just like, what?
The
It takes
ADHD
10
kicks
seconds.
in.
It takes 10 seconds to just go doop, 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 bloop. Like literally. And then it's crazy. It like blows my mind. But I'm at the point where it's like, this is just who she is. It's how our mind works, how our brain works. So I either leave it, or if it's bugging me, I put it away because I'm an adult. So guess what? If it's going to bug you, and then if it's bugging you because there's a mess
I'm
out.
hearing about
you
this for the first
You
time.
can take care of the mess. Well, no, she's definitely not. But so
I
that's
mean,
what
you've teased me here and there, but
so that's
you've
what I
never
mean,
said
right?
it, like,
When it comes
bugs me.
down to communication, it's all around like.
And asking yourself, it's a make or break. Like, is it a make or break that your partner does this? Because there are certain things that you do too, where it's just like, it's okay. It's not a make or break.
Yeah, so there's some people that take this to the extreme, and every little bitty thing that happens, they're nitpicky and they bring it up. Not saying that you should do that, right?
Yeah.
Now, if it's something that's truly causing you harm or making you feel like an unsafe place, or it's adding extra stress or something that's a trigger for you for whatever reason, then bring it up, right? But if not,
Yeah, talk about it. And your partner always has the right to say no, like we talked about earlier. So part of growing with a person is being able to communicate your needs. And if your partner can't meet your needs, that's like, it's not their responsibility to meet all of your needs. You're also responsible for getting your own needs met. And so it's like your job to communicate. It's the other person's job to communicate what they're willing to do. And then the expectation bar has been set.
because those little things are the things that add up and cause
Yeah.
these huge, crazy eruptions, right? Because those are the little things are what's going to make the big things blow up.
Yeah.
Right? So it's make sure that you just clean out all the little things. You don't have to worry about it.
All right, I want to leave you with a fix framework. So I do this whenever I'm feeling a certain way. Recently, I felt like I was cleaning more in the house because I can hyperfixate on things. And so I was doing more of like, oh, I see the baseboards need to be cleaned. I'm going to clean the baseboards. And so then I felt like I was doing all of the deep cleaning in the house. And so I came and I sat down and I was like, hey, I'm feeling really stressed out. I'm feeling overwhelmed. I don't feel very supported because I feel like I'm cleaning all the time. Can you please help me clean more? Can we come up with a plan? Either we clean together during a certain period of time, or can you just become a little bit more aware? And so this is the framework I use. So I feel blank when blank. So I said sad, like overwhelmed, frustrated, unsupported when I'm cleaning all the time. What I really need is blank. And then you say what you need. So I didn't know, like I wanted us to come up with a solution together, but the end result was him helping more. How we did that, I was flexible on. Sometimes you're not flexible on the how, but in this one I was. So you get to determine what that is. The second thing you want to do is you want to decide what the start and the end of the conversation is going to look like. So start of the conversation, like you say this, and then end of the conversation, like what is the resolution going to be? If you say what I really need is blank and they're like, I can't give that to you, then how are you going to support yourself? Because self-support is the greatest tool you will ever have. Do you want to add anything to the framework? And
No.
how do you feel when I say that? I mean, because you do the same thing to me, but
Well, the whole
like,
thing is what we're teaching you, what we want to teach you guys over this season and forever really is communication frameworks, right? It's talk tracks, how you can communicate, because it's not what you say, it's literally how it's what you say and how you say it. It's the words you use. So you might have all the meaning in the world, but if you go into you, but I can't believe this. If you're attacking, if you're putting someone on defense mode, because through our communication we can put someone in defense mode. We can, right? You can attack someone through your words, and they're automatically going to kind of put up that barrier and get defensive in a way. So,
well, not everyone.
well, most people, most of society. So when it comes down to it, it's
just learning to take personal responsibility for your.
so
your
instead of saying you make
contribution.
me feel hurt and I can't believe you do this, and it makes me feel like you don't love me and blah blah blah. That's different than saying, hey, I really feel sad when I'm not getting a lot of support around the home, or when I feel like I'm not being supported when it comes to cleaning. It's a completely different delivery than, oh my God, I just can't believe that you're not helping me, and how dare you? Do you even love me? And it's just there's different ways to communicate what you want, right?
I always like to play the game too with myself of like just pretending that you're completely oblivious. Like, this person has no idea in the world that I feel this way. How would I approach this in a way where they are like shocked to hear this and feel like they want to contribute to the solution? So approaching it with love, first of all, honesty, and then just also confidence for myself in knowing that no matter what is said as a response, that my worth is the same even if the other person says no. Because for a really long time I had such a hard time asking for help because the fear of rejection was so strong. If that person said no, or they didn't show up for me, or I asked them to buy the flowers and they didn't, that meant that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worth it. And I would hold on to that so strongly, which is one of the reasons why I was so fiercely independent. I had such a hard time asking for help.
If you don't ask for something, people can't hurt you. They can't.
Exactly.
They cannot deliver, right? So if you don't ask, then you can't get hurt.
Totally.
In a
But
way,
you can
as
get
much.
hurt because
Yeah.
then your needs aren't getting met, your partner isn't meeting your needs, and then you're in this cycle of frustration of they're not meeting my needs, but you're also not asking for what you want. And so once I got super confident in myself and knowing no matter what this person says back to me, it does not affect me in any way, it does not affect my worth in any way, I got so much better asking for help because it was like, can you help me? Yeah? Cool. No? Okay, that's fine. I have a plan B. So that's why I say self-support is so incredible, or what are other options? Like, I love doing an options list. There's been so much research around giving yourself options. And once you give yourself options, it's way easier to come up with a solution. There was this crazy study that was done, like the difference in accuracy of having the difference between like 1 to 2 or like 1, 2, or 3 options is just like huge. So I just like giving myself lots of options to tell my brain that I'm not stuck, that I have choices, and it feels really empowering.
Cool. So the biggest thing we want to
right.
leave you with is healthy communication is about being perfect, right? It's not about communicating perfectly. It's just about putting more thought into your communication. So instead of just reacting and saying something, really think about what it is you want, how you're showing up, how the role you're playing in it, right?
Yeah.
In the ask, and what it is you expect in return. And if your ask is met with a no, or if you don't get what you're asking for, then also how are you going to take that and what are you going to do? So, yeah. Cool.
Episode 1, season 2. Okay, we have our super secret news, so do not leave yet. First off, please subscribe, drop a comment. If you have a question you want us to answer next week, drop it below. Yeah, that's all I had to say for that. And then our super secret news.
May 1st.
May 1st.
Noon, 12 o'clock noon, Pacific Standard Time.
Pacific Standard
For all you
Time.
East Coasters or wherever you're at. We are doing our first live masterclass, and it's going
I'm
to be
so
fun,
excited.
Spicy. You guys ready for this one? It's Make Money, Get Laid.
I was going to say, should we do a 3, 2, 1 countdown?
Make Money, Get Laid.
Make
is what we
money, get
are
laid.
Titling that. That's what we're talking about, right? Our communication blueprint to leveling up your business, for leveling you up in business and in the bedroom. So
if you want to make money and get laid, then this is the masterclass for you. if you want to improve your communication skills and strengthen your relationship, because we know we're both entrepreneurs and we know that when you have a really healthy, spicy, fun love life, your business feels a lot more effortless. And why we do what we do is we want to help high achieving professionals have the incredible relationship that they deserve, because when you have an incredible relationship with a supportive person who gets you, life becomes more fun, but business becomes more fun too.
100%. Also, if you communicate about what you want, that rolls into the bedroom, it rolls into business, it rolls into every aspect of life. So take what we talked about, right? Just those 3 questions, but take the dynamic behind it and how we communicate and how we ask those questions, right? And what those frameworks are, and implement them in the other areas of life. And if you're stuck on that, or you need help, right? Or you're not sure where to go or how to implement those, reach out to us.
Right, reach out to us. Send us a DM. We would love to get to know you.
Through it, so.
And we are excited. We'll see you May 12th and next week.